Hello, and welcome to the Dementia Dish with Danielle. My name is Danielle Farrell, and I am a public education coordinator at the Alzheimer Society of Peel. And today I'd like to share a little information with you on adaptive devices and gadgets. There are many devices that are on the market that are helpful and can be helpful to persons living with dementia and their care partners. One such device is a homing beacon that can be put on wallets, keys, glasses, things that go missing often. And with people living with dementia and memory impairments, this can be a great source of frustration. So in the top left-hand corner of the screen is a picture of something called a tile. And this is one such device that can be used and programmed in order to find missing items. Please note there are many devices that are capable of this type of technology in a wide range of prices. There is also clocks that you can get that are quite user-friendly for people living with dementia. This means that the clock will have the date, the time of the day, the exact time, and also often will have a voice control. So the person can tap a button and the clock will read out all of the information that is on the display. You can also get phones that have pictures and phone numbers programmed to go along with those pictures. People living with dementia will sometimes have difficulty with just a name alone, but will have better luck with facial recognition. So this type of phone can be quite useful. In the bottom left hand of the screen, we have what is a sensor for motion that can be plugged in to any plug, and it can alert when somebody is approaching an exit or is up and moving around. So this can be very helpful to alert care partners of any potential risks. In the center of the screen at the bottom, we have noise canceling headphones. So people living with dementia can often be overstimulated by the environment around them and can find comfort in a device that will cancel out some of the information coming at them, some of the background information and stimulation. I don't know if you've ever bought a new remote, a new device that came with a remote control that was very complex, but for most of us, it can be a source of frustration. And for people living with dementia, it can really prevent them from being able to independently use things like their TV, stereo, things like that. So you can purchase very user-friendly remotes that have very few buttons and therefore are more user-friendly. People living with dementia may mistaken sharp objects for other objects. They may mistaken cleaning products, for example, for juice or things that can be eaten or ingested. And as a result, this increases safety risks. So there are cabinet locks and clips that can help to put those things away and then to lock them so that they will not have the risk of being misinterpreted or used improperly. You can also put up gates over stairwells. This can help for people who may have balance issues, need some assistance on the stairs from using the stairs when not supervised and when there is nobody to support in order to, lower the risk of falls. Meal times can be particularly challenging for people with mobility issues, for people who have movement disorders, and for people living with dementia in general as their disease progresses. So there are some gadgets and devices out there to make mealtime easier and to help the person to remain more independent. One such item is weighted utensils. They have a larger grip and they also have more weight to them. This is often easier for a person to use. There are clothing protectors that help maintain someone's dignity as well as to protect their clothing. There are placemats that are actually templates that tell a person where the dishes and utensils would go in a place setting. And this can help a person to remain independent with setting their table. One thing that can happen with people living with dementia is that they can experience perception differences, whereby objects that have no color contrast and are the same color or the same tone may be perceived as blended. So two objects look like one large object. So getting contrasting plates and dishes and having the plate be a different color than the food that is being served or a different color from the table or placemat can help the person living with dementia differentiate between their food and the plate. Angled dishware, meaning utensils, forks, knives, spoons, can be very helpful for those who have fine motor difficulties, and this can make it easier for them to remain independent to eat on their own. There are also plastic or metal plate guards. These are guards that can be attached to one side of a plate and can make it easier for somebody to be able to scoop up their food without it going off of the other end of the plate and help them to have a stop place in order to lift from. As we know, relaxation and stress relief and having things to do is very important for everyone in life, including persons living with dementia. So in earlier stages, jigsaw puzzles can be a really great activity for people, and you can get them in very large piece sizes in order to make it easier if someone is having difficulty with mobility dexterity. Something that has been found to be quite useful is nurture therapy. And nurture therapy involves using robotic cats, robotic dogs, and lifelike dolls in order to provide care for something other than yourself. And so that can be a great asset for nurture therapy. Something else that can be helpful for tactile stimulation and for motor skills, if someone is in late stages of dementia, is something called twiddle muffs, which also come in aprons or lap blankets that have objects sewn to them that can be manipulated. Weighted blankets can be used to help reduce anxiety and to help somebody to sleep better. People living with dementia may also experience perceptual differences whereby shadows and lighting can cause the person to have illusions and delusions. So a great recommendation is blackout blinds or curtains, and that can help to reduce in the later afternoon, early evening when the sun is setting to relieve some of that misperception. Another area where people can really take advantage of some tools is during personal care. There are some really great products out there. One such product is a bed mat. This is to protect both the bedding, but also it is to help for incontinence at nighttime when perhaps an incontinence brief may not be quite enough. There are handles that you can get, grab bars that can be attached to almost any surface in order to assist people with being able to get up from a seated position. So this could be used attached to a tub or attached to bed rail, for example. So it can be used in lots of different ways. There are rinseless shampoos and conditioners and body wash that actually do deodorize, and yet they don't need water or to be rinsed. And these can be very helpful products when bathing or showering has some difficulties to it. You can buy some straps that attach to everyday household tools that you would use in your everyday life. So this would be, forks and knives, toothbrushes, brushes. So it can go on all these different devices and make it much easier and allow for a person to remain more independent. Shower chairs can be used for people who may have mobility or balance issues, where slips and falls in the bath or shower may be of concern. So these can be really great stabilizers and reduce some of those risks. Raised toilet seats can be very useful for people who may have joint issues, for people whose perception due to their dementia is changing and who have difficulty lowering into seated position. So having the toilet seat higher helps with that. So the person does not have to lower down as far, can take some of the fear out as well. And then we have lifts. So one of the areas that people experiencing mobility difficulties that they may experience as they progress through dementia, they may have trouble going from sitting to standing, pardon me. And so electronic chairs where the chair actually lifts the person to a half standing position. For non-electronic devices, this may be very helpful from a bed. So getting someone to sit at the side of a bed and go from that position of sitting on the side of the bed to standing. There are some lifts that are pictured. One such lift is pictured on the upper right-hand side of the screen here, and they can be used quite well. It can also be very helpful for care partners so they don't injure themselves, and especially their own backs. There are electronic chair gliders, and this can be used if you have stairs in your home and it's difficult for the person with the mobility issues or with the advanced dementia to be able to get up and down staircases. Something else that can be challenging is getting in and out of cars. And so there are some handles that you can attach to a headrest in the back seat of a car in order to assist a person to be able to exit the car or to get into the car. And also there are cane handles and also pull straps that can be attached to any car, and that can be very useful for getting in and out of the car as well, and can be attached to any of the doors. So those might be a useful tool and gadget to know about. People living with dementia may experience aphasia. Aphasia is where the person has difficulty communicating with their words and getting their words out. And so picture boards may be a really great way for a person living with dementia to be able to communicate easier and with less frustration. A lot of people living with dementia and or just people who are experiencing some visual impairments, it can be very difficult to read things that are small print. And so you can get these magnifiers, and these magnifiers can go over top of any book, pictures, pill labels, right? You can put anything underneath. and it will enlarge it and make it much easier for the person to be able to read. And so those are just some extra gadgets that may be very useful. So thank you so much for joining me today for the Dementia Dish. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And please, if you liked our Dementia Dish, please hit like and subscribe to let us know. And please suggest in our comment section any topics that you would like us to feature in the future. If you'd like to contact the Alzheimer's Society of Peel, you can do so at our service access at extension 370, or you can email us at direct.support@alzheimerpeel.com. Have a great day.